Agri Northern Cape says veld fires have destroyed over 480,000 hectares of grazing land in the province since June. The union says farmers assisted the SA National Defence Force in putting out a fire that claimed the lives of 6 soldiers on Friday. Now let's get an update. We're now joined via Teams by Eben Antonison from Agri Northern Cape. Eben, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Just talk to us about what the very latest in terms of the status of the fire as we speak in that area.
Good afternoon, Nunati. Thank you for having me. The recent status of the fire is that there's still a few flare-ups on Loatla itself. The fire has been contained and the firefighting teams are busy with a mop-up going on there, and there's still a few flare-ups and the people are working profusely, but the end of the tunnel is in sight.
Properly, but thank you so much for that. So now we understand that the veld fires have destroyed over 480,000 hectares of grazing land in the province since June. How much land has been destroyed in this fire, in this instance? Do you perhaps have any indication?
Not yet, a bit difficult. We estimate it's around about 20 to 25,000 hectares. But later in the week, we will obtain the satellite imagery to determine the burn scar, and we obtain that information from the Department of Agriculture.
And would you, as your organization, would you then assist any of the farmers that have been affected? I mean, I can imagine just some of the damages that they've experienced are quite extensive.
Yeah, it's always very difficult after a fire. It's a very difficult period for any agrarian afterwards in order to make his arrangements and his plans for his livestock and what to do next. So Agri Northern Cape, from our side, we established NPC a few years ago, and we are solely reliant on donations from any sector, the public sector, in order to obtain funds. And through the work with and the interactions with the Department of Agriculture, we obtain feed from the test facilities, and through the funds that's available, we 100% subsidize the transport for this feed to the landowners. So obviously there's a need, and it's within our emergency and contingency plans in order to help these landowners just for that first day or two until they can make the plans and arrangements what to do next with their livestock.
When you consider the thousands of, grazing land that has been destroyed in the province since June, what are the implications on a long-term basis for this?
Sure. Now, that's a very good question. It's always very difficult. Grazing can re-establish itself, but the long-term effect is not only the psychological effect left behind on the agrarian and the landowners, but also the infrastructure that is lost during such a fire. Now, that has serious complications and financial complications to the landowners, and that takes a few years in order to get the infrastructure ready so that the agricultural economic unit can then be sustainable and self-sustainable itself.
As Agri Northern Cape, I would imagine there are other entities from other provinces that you are constantly in communication with. Have you found, that you need more sustainable measures in place, especially for farm owners in instances like this? I hear you say you rely a lot on donations and, of course, on private sector to step in and help you.
Yes, it's very difficult with fires, especially. Now, the Northern Cape has been lacking the last few years with regard to the Provincial Umbrella Fire Protection Association. But the last 2 years, the association had a revival in order to get the communication through to the ground and to the landowners. And that does not only include landowners and agrarians, but also the state-owned land, communal land. That's always a very difficult situation because those people are not equipped in order to do effective firefighting. So there's always very good interaction, especially with the neighboring provinces, with regard to effective incident command centers. And we had a lot of instances these last couple of weeks with the 5 complexes that was established, and the Northern Cape was reliant on the Northwest as well as the Free State Umbrella Fire Protection Associations.